lesson how to truly build a business. So without any further ado, here is Andy Morbitzer.
This is Andy Morbitzer, and today we're going to do a little bit of training that is more about personal uh, recommendations, some experiences and histories that I've come across in multiple industries, across multiple genres that have been successful in the past, and just wanted to give a little insight. We'll expand upon this training, but a lot of times people get started, and quite honestly, there's some rules and there's some advices and some statements that are very defining in nature, meaning they're going to help you close more deals. And I've got some do's, I've got some don'ts, some conversion sentences, and I'll explain what that means. But this is going to give you a barometer. This will be the basics, the overview of how to get started, what to do, what to say, how to say it, why you're saying it, how to overcome, and it'll give you kind of a progression of what we're going to do. So typically, the first one that I'll start with is, let's just take a scenario. Let's say you're at a network marketing meeting, and there's all types of these breakfast clubs and different functions, and there's a whole bunch of them worldwide, where you agree to come be part of some social, depending upon where the event might be held. You're in a room with 100 other people that are trying to sell their wares or build a relationship with you, and really the very first thing you need to know, I mean, right out of the gate, you need to have an elevator speech. And we've all heard what an elevator speech is. And every sales mentor that I've ever had, your first statement, quite honestly, should be one that's abrupt, one that captures somebody's attention, not the run-of-the-mill, oh, well, I blah, 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 blah. That's not going to get anybody's attention. You're not going to make an imprint in somebody's brain. So I have rules when I go, or my elevator speech, when I meet somebody in passing, or you're sitting at dinner, or you're at a function where you might not know the other individuals. Your time is going to be very brief with that individual. And it always comes up, the question, so Andy, what do you do? You have to have a response that you've rehearsed and that you know that you spew out right now confidently, that boom, you don't stutter around and well, I do, and well, that doesn't get it done in the professional world. You better know what you do, and you better know what to say right now. So my elevator speech right out of the gate is I assist people in retiring early. I don't say any more, I don't say any less. Now, the next progression in that, the next question, well, what do you mean you help people retire early, Andy? Know that in this type of setting where you're at a dinner, you're at a networking event, the key to this, guys, is to make an impression and I have a rule. I never give a business card. Business cards, in my opinion, are a total waste of time. If you got 100 people in a room, your goal, your number one objection is to get every single card from every single person in that room. Now you control the data, the information, the contact. You control the when you call them, how you call them, if you call them. How many times have you given out business cards? And I mean, some people have hundreds of these things that they pass out. When was the last time somebody called you up and said, hey, I got your card, I'm interested in joining your business? Well, that's like never, ever does it ever happen. So when you're in that kind of setting, and it's a social and it's networking, everybody's there to try to sell you and you're trying to sell them, don't miss the priority of what you're trying to achieve. If you spend all your time on one or two people spewing out all this information and you barf all over them, you've wasted your time. You just let 98 other people walk out the door and you've got no way to contact them again. So be a good card collector. Nobody you give a card to is going to give you a call, period. If you don't have his information, you've wasted your time. On an initial meeting, if you say too much, you've wasted your time. You keep it short, you keep it simple, you have your elevator speech. So Andy, what is it that you do? I assist people in retiring early. Keep it as simple as that. So he's going to say, well, what do you mean you help people retire early? You better know your next response, because I guarantee he's going to ask. So what do you say when, after you said, I assist people in retiring early? My company spent a large sum of money giving us the tools necessary to replicate our business. Is it okay that I send you a video? Guys, you got to understand, here's what the crux of the matter is, especially you guys that are new. You're full of life, you're full of passion, you're energized, you're taking massive action. But at the time and point in time that you join this business, your knowledge of the business is at the lowest point it will ever be. So you're supposed to take massive action, but you know very little about the company. And people know it. You do not portray yourself as the expert. As you get started, let the tools do the work for you. Let the videos work for you. Be a great appointment setter. Do not be the expert in a group of people of 100, because you're going to spend all your time with 1 or 2 and 98 just walked out the door. You want to touch as many people as fast as you can without being rude, or the other person feeling that, you know, their time's not valuable or whatever it might be. You need to get in, get out, and accumulate as many cards as possible. And if somebody asks you, well, Andy, do you have a card? Well, sorry, no, I don't. The first 50 people I talked to took all my cards. Now, does that look like you're unprepared? Well, maybe. But the conversion sentence there is, I do want to speak further with you. I think it warrants 10 minutes of your time. Do you mind if I have your card? Now, here's a key concept you need to understand in a room like this. People want to know more about the opportunity as you're speaking with them, but you don't have the time to go into all that. You've got 100 people that you need to get their contact information, make an impression, and get them to give you your card. Here's exactly what you do. Once you get their card, when they give you the card and you accept the card, you look right in their eyes and you say exactly this: may I call you tomorrow? And if I do, will you accept my call? That is buttoning up a short time interaction with somebody else. Your objection, your objective, or your priority is one thing: get the contact information. Not to go spewing all your knowledge to somebody in an event like that. You've missed the point of the event. It's all about gathering names, and the more you get, remember, marketing is a numbers game. The more contacts, the more information, the more leads that you have, the more successful you will be. So quit, and that's true outside of this arena. In network marketing at all, you must take massive action in spurts and periods of time, because if you don't, you get burnt out. Now, when you look at them and you give them the call, or give them take their card, the whole principle around looking at them, making eye contacts, is most people don't want to lie to you. And if you specifically say, may I call you tomorrow? And when I do, will you accept my call? That's a confirmation right there. He's looking right into your eyes. Because how many times have you gotten a business card and you call people and they never take your call? They never answer. They know it's you now. It's technology. They see your caller ID. Okay, this is Andy. He's bugging me about some whatever he was trying to sell, whatever function it was. How you eliminate that is you put the onus and the responsibility and the morals and the ethics of the short, brief conversation back on the other person. And you achieve that real quickly by eye contact. May I call you tomorrow? And when I do, will you accept my call? And he'll say yes. The next step in the progression, guys, you need to set a specific time. If you say, okay, I'll call you tomorrow, that's nonsense. You've wasted your time. You need a specific time Make sure you're both on the same, whatever, planet, country, time zone, whatever it is. May I call you tomorrow? And when I do, will you accept my call? You must set a specific time for that. And like I said, I never give a business card unless I get one, period. I want the control. I want to be the one that initiates the call. If somebody asks, well, Andy, what it's all about, you say, well, to save us some time and to help you understand, we've had it professionally done. We've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on educational and video products that can explain it much better than I ever possibly could. And here's another kicker. You might as well start closing from the moment that you meet them. And here's a passive way of doing that. Okay, Andy, I assist people in retiring early. And that's what oh, really, Andy? What do you mean? How does that work? Well, our company spent, thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars on the marketing systems that can explain this to you much better than I can. Now, here's the kicker. You also throw in another line, and you assume that he's going to join. You say, these are the same videos that you're going to use when you join. Think of the power of what you just created right there on a 2-minute, 3-minute interaction with a total stranger. You've given him the elevator speech. You've confirmed that you're going to call him, and he's acknowledged that. He's looked in your eye. You set a specific time. So he might say, okay, I'll take a look. And all that you say is, you'll be very excited, you'll learn a lot, and it warrants 10 minutes of your time. There you kind of assume that it's only going to take 10 minutes of his time, even though you know that the video is probably, collectively 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 2 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it might be. Always use when setting an appointment, may I call you tomorrow, and when I do, will you accept my call so we can chat? The word chat assumes it's going to be a casual, brief telephone call. Now, are you going to give them an overview? Absolutely. Is it going to take more than 10 minutes? Maybe, probably. Now, this is a cold call, elevator speech, unknown person. If you follow those steps in somebody passing or in a group or an environment where you don't know anybody and they're all opportunity seekers, entrepreneurs, etc., that's the way you want to do. Now, once he's looked at your video, and let's say it's the next day that you're calling the guy, you've got to be initially a great appointment setter. Understand that you've got a business, you don't know all the ins and outs, you're in no shape, way, or form ready to handle questions, you're not ready to be the experts. That takes time, that takes a little bit of education, a little bit of tenure. So let the tools do the work. Be a great appointment setter. Be a great emailer. Find a system that works for you. And appointment setter, when you call somebody up, you're not there to pitch the business. You're there to either get a butt in a seat at a convention or an overview, a Saturday training in your local whatever. Be a great appointment setter. Let the tools do the work for you. And then you've got to know your upline, and you've got to find your line of progression. So you've met somebody, you've set an appointment, he's watched the videos, you're going to get him on the call. At some point, the most effective thing that you can do is a three-way call. Why? First of all, you don't have the knowledge. You're new. You're just getting started. Whenever you bring a third-party expert into a conversation, you edify them in such a way that they are the expert, the one that's being successful, that can answer the questions. Because after they watch the video, they're going to have some questions. They're going to have some challenges. They're going to have some objections. So you need to learn who your upline is. Whether, you used Jesper Benson in Europe, or one of the other owners, or some of the other leaders there, or here in the States, you could use, Patrick Moore, Scott Schlemmer, or Caleb, or Nicole Peterson, myself. Maybe Gary Connor comes into play on the crypto side. But you want to have a progression. You want to have a team or a list of people that you can say, okay, you need to find a teammate in business to say, okay, I've sent out a whole bunch of appointments. Tomorrow I'm expecting some three-way calls. Are you going to be around to assist me? And this is your upline. And if he's not, you find the next guy in the progression. But so many times in this business, I see people try to approach, overcome, and close people on their own. And they would close and be much more successful if they would utilize three-way calls. Now, I know in this company and every company that I've been involved with, people who utilize three-way calls, and I'm not beating my own chest or anything else, but people who do three-way calls with me are hands down always my best sponsoring people. Always the most successful in my businesses. Why? Because they've learned how important three-way calling is. It doesn't have to be me, it could be anybody. Well, within reason, anybody. Hopefully somebody that's been in 2-3 months, understand things. Because if it's a friend of yours, if it's a relative of yours, if it's a coworker of you, some of those people, they work with you every day. And whether you've made money or not, or if you have a little more credibility. But if you're in your office and you're saying you're still working there, and your coworker says, "Well, I see you're still working here. That MLM thing must not have worked out." That's why you need the third person. You need that. Eliminate the expectation that's put on you, or the prejudgment that people already have in their mind of your abilities, because it can be good and it can be bad. If you bring in a third party, that person you have on the phone assumes the person you brought on is successful, is the one that holds the key to the kingdom, that's the expert in the field. Always utilize three-way calling, and you better edify the person that you're putting on the other end of the phone. You better say things and address things in such a way that he's the industry leader. He's one of the top producers in, the Western Hemisphere. He's one of the top producers in the world. He has direct access. However you want to build him up, be truthful. But you need to find 2 or 3 different people like that. Quit trying to be the expert, especially when you're just starting. The more you talk, the less likelihood somebody's going to join. And I hate to say that, but it's a truth. And I see it over and over again. When you get started, be a great appointment setter. Use the tools, use the three-way calling. Now, once you've gotten to the point where somebody's seen the videos, you've done a three-way call, you have about a window of 72 hours that person's either going to engage or you've lost them. Quit chasing rabbits down holes. It's a waste of time. Now, are there exceptions to that rule? Absolutely. But guys, understand, people buy from people. People buy from emotion. When people are excited, that's when you go in and you close them. Number one reason that nobody closes deals. Number one reason a salesman fails. Now, this is pathetic. You know what the number one reason somebody doesn't close a deal? Because they never asked for the sale. They've beat their chest, they've danced around, they've looked at videos, they've done three-way call on their email, and they talk you to death. But they never say to the person, are you ready to join? What package level would you like to start at? Are you ready to diversify some of your monies abroad? Guys, you'll never, ever hit a ball that you don't swing at. And what's the worst thing that can happen if you swing at a ball and you miss. Strike one. Big deal. If you take no personally, you're in the wrong business. Get out now. Don't take no personally. It'll mess your head up. No going into any conversation, any situation, when you have an opportunity, the worst thing that can happen is somebody says no. Get over it. You're going to have a hell of a lot more no's than you have yes. And if you cannot deal with that reality, right here, right now, I suggest that you find another business. Now, with one exception, one of the very key primary component that we love so great, and what got my attention more than any other thing, guys, know at the end of the day, I don't care if you can't recruit and talk your way out of a wet paper bag. Here's what you do have that's going to launch this platform above all others. It's the ability that our byproduct is money. We've got several different ways that people can earn benefits and commissions without sponsoring. That, my friend, will be the #1 conversion rate or conversion sentence, and I'll explain what that means here in a minute, that you will ever have. Understand your market. 97% of the people fail in network marketing because they're not making any money, because they've spent more than they've made. They try it and they quit, and 3 months later, they're looking for a new opportunity. So how is then all that other nonsense out there? One of the most important factors. I don't care how great somebody says they are, they're talking to you on the phone because they're unhappy with whatever else that they're doing. It's not working. I don't care if they're laser focused on ABC company. It's a bunch of nonsense. 3% of the people in this industry make more than they spend. All other people are drinking Kool-Aid and hype and just running their mouths. Keep that in the back of your mind, that every single person you talk to, 9 times out of 10, are looking for a way to make money. And they're on the phone with you because whatever they're doing now isn't working. Because if it was, they wouldn't be talking to you. So the strongest component, we can earn 3 or 4 different ways. That's not predicated, well, let me use it, that's not totally reliant on someone's ability to recruit or sponsor or recommend another individual. In and of itself, there are advantages. Never ever forget that, guys. So, take massive action. Here's the one that kills me with people. I just explained to you why you let the tools do the work, and you should always let the tools do the work. It replicates you. Believe me, I know replication might be the determining factor because there's only one of me and there's only so many days in the hour.